You're watching Dr. Amir Sankofa Kwele live. Make sure you stay tuned, hit that like button, and subscribe. It's going down.
Hi, greetings, y'all. What's going on? I'm Dr. Amir Sankofa Kwele. I'm here. Greetings. Anyway, today, dang, this camera is annoying. I guess I gotta look this way. It's annoying to look at this way, and then the video will be over here. Let me fix this. Okay, that's better. Okay, so I want to talk to y'all real quick about y'all know how you my hair is growing, so it's itching. I just wash it, so don't say nothing about my hair being dirty because it ain't. Okay. So anyway, let's talk about it. Let's chat, shall we? So let's talk about children. Let's talk about that. Let's get it on with that. Let's talk about that, man. Y'all just don't know. So let's have that conversation about children. And let's talk about how it is in today's society. And this is going to be a quick review. And as you notice, I don't have my partner in crime here with me. Partner in life, I should say, not in crime, because we don't commit crime, but partner in life with me. He is adjourned. You know what I'm saying? He doing him right now, which is him playing his thing, the games. Anyway, so how you doing? Don't need no man telling me I do. So, of course, today is a great day. So in talking with my husband, we just had a really good conversation. Like I said, you pretty much seen, if you look at the last video I posted, we talked about doing about raising children. So I want to share a couple of things with you. I want to share too much. So you know, one of the things that I've learned as a parent, it's not always, and my mother taught me this. And she was a school teacher. She always taught me, don't always automatically believe what the teacher says. Your child, they say your child did X, Y, Z. Don't always take the word of the teacher, because teachers can lie too. And sometimes teachers do have vendettas against your children. And sometimes they don't see the whole situation and what had happened. So they can only go off of what they saw sometimes. And then sometimes they may have a certain particular student there that they may like a little bit more. They might have certain favoritisms. Who knows? But always listen to your child. Now, that's not saying that your child isn't wrong. And that does not say that they didn't do anything to cause a certain situation. But definitely do consider what your child says. So with our 6-year-old, we are learning that. We are learning to listen to, we're learning to listen to him in regards to when he says this happens or when that happens, and, kind of bringing certain points to the forefront. And not just that, but also knowing what he's capable of doing. Okay? Because sometimes children will say, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. And yes, children do lie sometimes, or should I say exaggerate. Sometimes it's a lie, sometimes it's exaggeration of truth. So what happened here recently, all year round, this is the second year at this particular school. The first year, we didn't want to remove the kid out of the school at the time because we were still going through the process of the system, I don't feel like having to keep saying adoption, but we was going through the process of the system, right? And so we didn't want to seem like we was flaky about taking the kid out, right? And then half of this year, he was still within the system, so we didn't want to just snatch him out. So now, it's been like a month, a little over a month since he's been officially. He was already ours, right? He was born for us, but I'm talking about legally. So since he's been legally ours, we wanted to and then you only got like a month left of school, so it made no sense to snatch him out like right as a month left over of school. See, it's weird to look at this camera like this. I feel like I'm looking everywhere. I think I'm gonna let's put this camera back over here. Okay. All right, so it looks weird. I need to adjust this camera. This camera is driving me nuts. Um, so one of the things, like I was saying, to have to go through that ordeal of taking them and choosing the right schools because of when you have a little brown boy or aka black, right? You want to be careful. Well, any kind of kid, right? But you definitely certainly want to be careful about when you have a little brown kid, or black, whatever. In school, you want to be careful about putting him in a school that may have certain prejudice against him, whether it's about his color, his nationality, or if they act funny toward him because of his humble beginnings, right? So a lot of times we have to be careful of that. And so in our situation, we're gonna say our situation. I'm gonna say everybody. I'm gonna say our situation. So we don't. They already pretty much, to me, already have like a record because of stuff that mistakes he's made. And at one point, he was being bullied and by a little kid, and we had to get on that. And every time we would tell the teacher, hey, our son's complaining about this, that, she always has something to say. Well, then I heard, well, he did this, he did that. Why you didn't tell us that up front, right? Now, don't get twisted. Our son is way never an angel. I don't want to call him an angel. He's our little angel, of course, but I would not say I'm not going to be blind to the fact and lie to you all or lie to myself and say that he's always the perfect little angel, and he does everything he's supposed to do. No, I'm not going to say that. And I'm not going to say that he doesn't show out at school. Um, Obviously, he does to a point. I think he does on certain levels. Yes. He does do things that he probably should not do. But coming from where he came from, he's doing a lot better. He's getting better as we go. I will say that. But still is not where he necessarily probably should be, right? Let's be honest with that, right? But it is difficult in these days and times in raising children. Um, Now, even on down to when I raised my first set of children, I didn't necessarily think it was. I don't want to say my children were easy to raise. My first, my oldest children, I would not say they were easy to raise, but I would say that they had different obstacles than they do now. They have way more different obstacles, and a lot of their obstacles, or I'm trying to find the camera. It looks weird because of how I'm looking to the side, which I got to understand. If y'all was here, y'all would understand why it's like that. I don't have both cameras on. I just have this one camera on. And I probably should have did this one. Anywho, so I find I find it to be difficult in the way everything, because my children were not exposed to social media like that. They didn't have social media the way that they do now. My son is not on social media, uh, supervised, obviously, like through YouTube. He watches certain YouTube channels. So we certainly do watch that. We certainly do have an account for him. We, if it's anything on there that it beeps, it lets us know. And he doesn't have the remote control permanently fixed as a fixation to his fingers or his bed, right? We have control over that. He does not know where it's at. We hide it every night. So he does not have access to it like without us, and we pretty much monitor them. So just trust me when I say it's monitored. The YouTube, and he has a kiddie channel. He's on YouTube, kids YouTube. But even with kids YouTube, y'all, kids YouTube still you have to watch what's on that, because some of the things, some of the content that's on you kids YouTube is not fit for any child, let alone a 6-year-old, right? So I find that to be very difficult, right? Of having to monitor these things, because this is not something we necessarily did when my oldest children were growing up. I didn't have to monitor YouTube. The most, was the telephone, and you can easily hang that up, and you can take the phone out the room and check their bags to make sure they're not buying new phones or having different phones to have to ring and being sneaky and just different things like that. So you can have control over that, because my children weren't allowed cell phones, cellular phones, until they got out of the house, until they turned 18, and it was going and out the house. So obviously, I'm not getting my 6-year-old now. So I've seen some of you mothers get cellular phones for children, and that's not what I'm going to do. My son does have an iPad. He does have um, 3 different game systems, right? But there's passcodes on all of those. He can't just randomly get on there without us putting them on there, and we have taken all the devices for him to not only have. Only thing he can probably get into, and he still no, actually he still has to have a passcode. The only thing he can get into is his tablet. But even with the tablet thing, he can't download anything unless he has my passcode, and he does not know that. Okay, so pretty much on his iPad's PBS, and things like that. ABC Mouse, excuse me. So he has access to that. But do y'all understand how difficult it is with it's just, it has a struggle. And so I go back and forth, and I think about sometimes, and sometimes I have baby fever. Sometimes I would like, and I'm 48 years. I'm lying. I just turned 49. I forgot. Sometimes I have baby fever. But then I keep contemplating on it, because I'm like, dang, my son probably really needs our special attention. So I don't necessarily think I would just purposely go out and get pregnant again, right now. Or even to, adding additionals to our family through different means, like through adoption and surrogate and things like that. Or me actually having a child, because I can still have children, right? But I don't necessarily think that that's the way that I would really like to go, unless by a miracle God said, God bless you with this child, boom, and made it happen, and that'll probably be the only way, right? Because I don't think I'm gonna go out at 49, but the point is, adding to our family is like a battle for me, because sometimes I want a little girl, because I only have one daughter. Technically, I have 2 stepdaughters, but but having another daughter, that I can actually raise, me and my husband ourselves, without additional folk, right? But it's just something to do in that regard, because it's like, is that selfish to keep having a whole bunch of children, and not paying attention when children need special attention? Because a lot of times our children need special attention, and sometimes adding to your family and making additionals sometimes may not be the best thing, in some cases. So that's kind of that's where I'm struggling at. So I'm just gonna probably allow it to flow, or if it comes up, then it's deemed by God. But I don't think I'm gonna necessarily go out my way in that fashion. I'm just gonna be normal, and if it happens, terrific. Um, so for me, it can be a bit of a battle with trying to keep up. I'm old school, and so mixing old school with new school principles or new age principles. For example, in my day, when your child act up, you whoop their butt. You spank them, you whoop them. And nowadays, that's not necessarily something that people do, right? It's not necessarily something that is advised. you know, in raising children. We did the back in the day the maybe a spanking or two, not beats, abuse, but back in the day. I said back in the day, people may have spanked their children, give them punishments, take things away from them, stop them from doing XYZ, right? So that was pretty common back in my day when I was coming up. When I was little, I got spankings, but not necessarily a lot, but more of them taking things away from me, and it passes on from generations to generations. And now, you have a child who, and these children now are very intelligent, emotionally and psychologically very intelligent, and some of them may be more intelligent than you as the parent, right? um Excuse me. um so a lot of times, this is another thing. In my day, when the children question you, like, why is this, why is that, when I used to say it to my mother, she'd be like, because I said so. And nowadays it's not really because I said so, because nowadays you look at it, because think about it, when you used to ask your mother things, and she would say, because I said so, you really legitimately wanted to understand why, so you would, you know so you could have an understanding about why she didn't want you to do something. And now it's like, I find myself, I'll go, because if you touch this, you'll burn. Why can't I touch the stove? Well, if you touch, I'm just an example. Well, if you touch the stove, then you'll get burned. Oh, I'll get burned. Yes. Okay. Well, I won't touch the stove. Then obviously you don't want to touch the stove, because we have to you'll get burned. We have to go to the hospital, and they have to give you shots and stuff, right? So whatever you tell a child, just whatever, you can sleep at night, right? So you tell your child that, and you go, okay, cool. But then sometimes if it's why, if it's like why 30 times within the last 3 hours, so that again, that can be frustrating. And after way, like, because I said so, because you didn't keep asking me like a gazillion times, right? Um, so I think that, and then some of these mothers, and I've watched a lot of these mothers here on YouTube, and man, they got like gazillion children, and it's like social media runs their household, and it's like, it's just different. And it's just, I think that we, a lot of times, some of us as parents, not me, and some of you probably that are in the viewing audience, and you may know someone, right, that a lot of times social media is basically raising people's children, because they don't take them anywhere, they're not paying attention to them, they're not doing much of anything but just trying to get them, in bed, ate and in bed. And it is more than just that in parenting, and they turn around and have more children. It's more than just that. It's not just um, that, but you actually have to take them somewhere. So I found, well, they do this every year, right? They have this thing now where you all can actually register, pay like that. I think it's $39.99, to take your children bowling damn near every day if you would like. Strike and spur, I think. You can take your children bowling. There's a lot of different things that you can do to have fun with your children, and to do things that are creative. And so I'm just trying to find different things, because I wanted to. I thought we had thought about getting my son enrolled in like karate, and honestly, that's probably not in the best interest right now, until we can get some more, until he can get a more discipline. Once he get a lot more discipline, then we would feel comfortable with putting him in karate. But now probably is not the right time to put him in karate, just to be honest with you, because we're still working on the behavior. I'm not saying our kid is not a bad kid. He's not bad. He's just, and I don't even like using the words of bad, right? Let's say he's not, what is the word for it? He is not a he's a good kid. Let me use reinforcement words. 'Cause back there we used to be like, you bad. You bad. Now we don't do that now. So let me just say that he is a good kid, but he struggles with things on occasion. He struggles with behavior at different times, like most 6 years old. So he's in the art of learning discipline. We were teaching him discipline. And I don't mean discipline like we're beating him, right? We're talking about discipline on the terms of taking this away, taking that away, explaining the consequence, teaching them consequences. Like if this happens, then you won't play the game. If that happens, then you would go, you would eat, do your homework, and you would go to bed early, type of thing. And he hates that. That is something that he hates, to go to bed early. He hates to have things taken away from him. Um, and piling on more homework, more reading, and things like that, with the additional stuff that he already has to do. So he has to do mommy's extra homework or daddy's extra homework. So in turn, you don't want to hate school, but yet, okay. So if you got time to act out in class, you got time to act out and have a smart mouth, then we're gonna do work. So we have to figure out a way of taking his inquisitory energy and taking his energy of being curious and what's another word, of wanting attention, to try and flip that, because we find ourselves giving him a lot of attention. He's give him a lot of attention. um so we're teaching him how to use words to say, like, hey, mommy or daddy, I would like more attention today. Is it possible I can get more attention, because I feel attention deprived? So that's something that we're working with him on. Is just telling us, hey, I need more attention. He's just now really, within this year, he's just now really able to really communicate more effectively. um what do I mean by that? Like I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm happy. Because at first he'd be like, yes, no, maybe so. So now he has excellent communication skills, where he is really expressive. I mean, oh my God, he's very expressive. He really expresses himself. What are you doing? How do you feel today? He can carry on a whole conversation. Before he could not. So now he's able to carry on a full conversation. He's able to express himself. He's able to ask you what you're doing. He's able to be conscious of what he's doing, and to be able to explain to you what he's doing and how he's doing it, right? He's able to give you instructions, and he's able to understand instructions. So we're working on that. We're working on him tying his shoes, y'all. In school, I remember we learned all of that in school. My children learned how to tie the school. It was part of homework curriculum. They learned how to tie their shoe. We work with them. The teachers, the school work with them, and that's that. Nowadays, your children got to learn how to tie their shoe. You have to teach them how to tie your shoe. The teacher does not assist with that. They don't tie a shoe. They would let him walk around with his shoes untied. I mean, he's learning how to tie a shoe. He's not learning to tie a shoe because we're like, you need to learn to tie your shoe, because he wants to. He legitimately wants to learn how to tie a shoe. Of course, we want him to tie a shoe, right? So I'm not just gonna say he alone wants to tie a shoe. No, we want to learn, but he's eager to learn. He's learning. He down to the last bolt where he ties it tight. He does not tie it tight. He would tie it, but then it comes on loose. So he's at that point. So he's at the last stage of learning how to tie his shoes. Okay, so he's learning that. This year also we're gonna work on the training wheels, of removing the training wheels off the bike. Working on that. That I don't. We were still working through that last summer. We didn't have much time to get for the bike, because of the cold, because it was cold oftentimes, and you know, just being mindful. I always wanted my husband to be here, not just me taking a bike ride, right? But nevertheless, we still have gone. So he pretty much has it down packed the with the training wheels, but I'm talking about removing the training wheels. So we're in the process of we're going to learn that as well this year. Just a couple of accomplishments that we're going to work on. We said we're going to work on a discipline level. So I'm really we're trying to decide on whether or not I should homeschool him, because I don't like the direction of where the school is headed, because these schools nowadays are just not what they need to be. And your child does not have to have autism or learning disabilities or anything like that. But a lot of times I find that I really want to I really want my son to have that special attention, a smaller classroom, so he can get that attention. It's not that anything's wrong with him academically. He had a speech problem. He was working with speech. His speech is not necessarily the problem anymore, right? Um, So he knows all his letters and things like that. But I think if he was in a small classroom, then he can get more attention given to him, because I think he really wants attention, more attention, a good attention, right? So we want to work on that behavior. In the school, they're like, well, we don't do smaller classrooms anymore. What do you mean you don't do smaller classrooms anymore? Only way we would do a smaller classroom if he was academically slow, and obviously he's not academically slow, or whatever they said slow. They said the exact words um, to me. Or if he was autistic, and not all autistic children or need help academically. Their brain is just wired differently, and it's just that simple. I mean, some of us is probably autistic and we just don't know it, because that they didn't have that when we were coming up, y'all. Anyway, so it's just so we're trying to decide on whether or not we should really put him into, because a private school that might not help. We're seeing out the options. They do have online schools where they can learn online. They have another school that I came across that you take them to school twice a week. For the rest, the remaining time, they're online. Now, that's going to require us to go all the way a little bit further than where we live, and it won't be by bus, right? So we have to physically get in our cars and take him there. Yes, he's worth the sacrifice, but is that something that we should do, or we should just completely do online and try to find something once a month or something like that that makes sense? But think about during the winter times, to drive all the way farther, especially when it snows, because it's been snowing here lately. You don't want your child to be tardy or miss anything, or so I'm thinking about that. We're thinking, not me, we're thinking about that. So and just the way that children are nowadays, they are very creative, more so. I mean, it's a lot of creative children. They know how to take this to that, take this and make this out of it. Children nowadays don't just want to be basketball players, which I appreciate. I think that's wonderful. Not everybody wants to be a basketball player. Everybody wants to be a rapper, right? A lot of people want to be social media phenomenals, right? So it's just getting our children outside of that box, right? And then the way that the school system tend to do is just different, and the school system is getting worse and worse and worse, it looks like. So just trying to figure out a remedy that would make sense. The online schools, yeah, we can do that. But as a mommy, because it would essentially fall on me and then fall on my husband during certain times of the week, right? Because obviously he's the working one, I am the stay-at-home mom. So it would make perfect, in a perfect world, it would make sense for me to homeschool him, because I've homeschooled them during a lot of times, because we had a lot of snowstorms. They had a lot of COVID out, breaks and things like that. So we were homeschooled a lot. I homeschooled a lot of times, right? But however, still, mind you, I'm running 4 different businesses. So, it would be an extreme sacrifice, not because I don't love him. He's well worth the sacrifice, but definitely keep in mind that there would be a lot of doing, so, and then put him in a private school. It's not just about the money, but will he get the same? Will he get better education? If you put him in a private school and you're paying for it, then education should be superb. Like, it should not be the same type of education that he's getting in the public schools, right? Now I have not found any charter schools that I found some charter schools online. However, I'm not finding charter schools. But keep in mind, it's another struggle. Is you'll be taking them yourself. You'll be, it wouldn't be a bus coming get them. So it'd be transportation. Suppose something happened with a car, and then I don't have to get back and forth. Suppose the 4 cars we have. Suppose something happened with that, right? Um, so it's a lot of different things that we have to really look into on terms of education. But again, I stated this before, and I will keep stating this, that you have to be your child's biggest advocate, right? It's just, our children are up against a lot, and we have to deal with a lot with our children, and we have to try to make the best out of the situation. Like I said, these children are very creative, but at the same time, they're numb to a lot of things. They're numb to death. They numb to crime and just different things that happen, because they see it every day on the social media. And even not just the children, but hell, some of these adults are out of control, right? They're worse than the children. Some of these children parents, they're more mature than their own damn parents. And so that's another thing. You're like, damn, well, why the hell? You know what I mean? So it's just different things like that that we have to be mindful for. And this is just a different time frame and a different time that we dealing with. I feel like I'm in the matrix sometimes, in deal in in looking at stuff on social media, and it just kind of demagnetizes us, from really connecting or really getting pulled up like a magnet. You know how a magnet pulls you to it, and it's just like wow. Some of this stuff is just unbelievable, and it's bad on a lot of cases because sometimes I'm not shocked, and I should be shocked. I should be appalled by some things, but I'm not. I'm like, oh, that's everyday B. Um, and yet our children grow up in this, growing up in this society, the way the society is ran, and by a lot of people that are in control or dumb as hell, right? So our children are being fed. And some of these teachers, some of these teachers, I swear, I'm like, I don't know where you got your degree from, honey, but you need to go back. You know what I mean? Because they probably, I'm not saying they giving teachers certifications and degrees away. I'm not gonna say that because it is some really good teachers out there. My mother was one good teacher. My aunts are one. You know, I had a lot of teachers in my family. So I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that they don't really care. And I know that there are laws in place where they have to be careful about dealing with your children a certain type of way because of all these children that are sleeping with the children, all the teachers that are sleeping with children, you know, and molestation and just all kind of crazy stuff that goes on, and mental and psychological and physical abuse that happens in schools with some of these teachers. And then not only that, but the teacher also on the teacher side, I'm being on the teacher side for just a second. And then the teacher may have be dealing with school shootings. There's a lot of that that's gone rampant within the last 20 years, you know. So we have to look at all of that, and like someone might have to strap up, and you might have to send your child to school with a weapon, you know, just to protect themselves. And you know, it's just crazy. And I just don't want my kid to be. And that's another thing. I said, well, maybe homeschool will be the best alternative, you know. But yeah, I definitely want my child to get that special education, to be smart as a whip, to be able to have access to college, to be able to go to any school that he wants to go to be able to do whatever trade or go to trade school, you know, whatever he wants to do that is law abiding, right? And that he's happy about, and you know, then let's go for it. But these are just different times. These are different times. These are different people. This is different era. This is just different in raising these children in these different times. I'm telling you, it's something else. And I'm glad that we were raising a boy, but it's harder even for them because, you know, police brutality, being labeled. And that's what I'm afraid of with this school, possibly of him being labeled. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I didn't want to talk really long. I'm going to enjoy the YouTube streets, but I want to show you all a product that I just made here. These are my candles. And here are the packages that come in. And I definitely, this will be a part, you can get these candles separately, but this will be a part of some of my kits that I have on my website. If you go to my website, you can certainly go to kits. If you want interested, you know, see the candles up there, then you can certainly purchase them on your own. Here's my lovely box. Okay, so let me show you another candle I made. These, I kind of made these for myself, and my husband's like, if you don't sell them damn candles. um Here is what I call blood moon. These are my blood moon candles. And these are my personal glasses that I set around the house because I just wanted to do something differently. You know, I wanted to do something different. It's blood moon candles, and hopefully you guys take a look at that and go to my website. If you're interested in the blood moon candles, then let me know. I can make you a special crop of them. I said crop, like, yeah, I feel like it's crop, but whatever. Thank you so much. You can go to www.ask314life.com. Ask about my amazing candles. They smell really good, y'all. Let me take a whiff. Smelling good. Yeah. And this one. Don't get high off your own supply. Anyway, you can go to www.ask314life.com, or you can go to my Euphoric Energy and purchase on Euphoric Energy, www.euphoricenergyllc.com. Certainly go on there and get my herbs and different things like that. Y'all know I do readings. Y'all can go to the Ask Life Coaching Ministry. That's the name of the business. You go to the ask314life.com and get all the metaphysics stuff, as well as the readings, healings, and stuff like that. Euphoric energies, herbs, spices, and stuff like that, sprays, different things. But certainly, thank you so much for signing in. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to try to do a video, if not every day, at least 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or more, if the energy feels that way. If not, it's just going to be a 10-15 minute video. I'm going to try to do that. Sometimes, y'all, it could be, with, mom life. Sometimes, real mom life. I should say real mom life. Sometimes you can't do that all the time with real mom life. But anyway, thank you so much. I hope you like and subscribe. Tell your friend, tell your cousin. This is what I've had on my heart to talk to you guys about, with school, raising children, things like that, and just how difficult it is today's time. But we shall overcome. I sound like I'm on the 1960s spiritual. Anyway, thank you so much. Please go check out the video I did for my birthday for my husband that was done 7 days ago. This is my birthday, aka Earth Day, hashtag Earth Day, hashtag birthday. Please go and check that out. I'm gonna probably check it out before I start chopping it up, because I have to edit some parts because we were traveling. So I have to take some of that out. So, and also go back and check out my other videos that I have as well. I have a lot of interesting things that, certainly everyday Joe Blow can talk about, and different things that I have certainly experienced. So experience is the best teacher. And sometimes sometimes listening is the damn best teacher too, as well. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate y'all energy. Hopefully you got something out of what I'm saying. Please comment below. I don't delete your comments unless you just all right ignorant. If you say something in it, then it is what it is. But for the most part, you don't have to agree with me. If you have any suggestions, please write it down and I'll let you know. Now, no, just because you write a suggestion, don't think I'm gonna do it. Just gonna tell you that up front. Because some people like, you didn't do what I told you to do. Well, girl, what you did was just not reasonable. But anyway, thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Please like, share, and tell everybody what I'm doing over here. Please come to my lives and celebrate. Let's go. All right. Thank you so much.
Death is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Cemeteries are full of people who've passed from a preventative illness. With the correct approach, you not only extend your chances of preserving your life, but you will improve the quality of your life with a natural approach. The earth provides energy healing herbs for the benefit of mankind.
Hello, I'm Amira Senko Kwali here at Ask Life Coaching Ministries. We're located at 1921 West Broadway. We've been in the healing business for over 20 years. To order my products, go to www.ask314life.com. I'm available 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. No machine.